Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful. This is Maryam Heather. I have been esteemed with another magnificent opportunity to illuminate the second great Islamic festival, Eid-ul-Azha. Eid-ul-Azha. Eid-ul-Azha is derived from two words, Eid meaning festival and Adha meaning sacrifice, which means the festival of sacrifice. It is also commonly known as Eid-ul-Azha, Bakra Eid or Badi Eid. Eid-ul-Azha is celebrated on the 10th date of the last Islamic month Zilhajj, which is also called as the month of pilgrimage. It is celebrated every year based on the Islamic calendar. This Eid is all about commemorating the willingness of Ibrahim to follow Allah's command as an act of obedience to sacrifice his most beloved son Ismail. Allah sent a ram replacing Ismail unharmed because Allah looks after his faithful followers. Ibrahim and his son had passed the test of Allah, and so, in the remembrance of this obedience of Ibrahim, Muslims all over the world perform Qurbani, that is the sacrifice of an animal, in the month of Zilhajjah, and remember the greatest sacrifice of history while celebrating Eid-ul-Azha. Since the Islamic calendar is a lunar calendar and is based on the sighting of the moon, with the sighting of the Zilhajjah moon, while saying the dua, that is, Allahumma uhillu alayna bil amni wal iman was salamati wal islam rabbi wa rabbukallah. O Allah, let the crescent moon appear over us with security and iman. O moon, my creator and your creator is Allah. And with this dua, the Muslims start anticipating for Hajj. Hajj. Hajj is the fifth pillar of Islam, and it is a greater pilgrimage to Makkah which all Muslims are expected to make at least once during their lifetime, if they can afford to do so. Hajj is demonstration of the solidarity of the Muslim people and their submission to Allah. The important rituals of Hajj are Umrah, along with the Tawaf of Baytullah, Halaq or Taqsir, that is shaving of the head and shortening of the hair for men and women, setting up of the camp and settling down in Mina for 3 days, traveling to Arafat and performing Wukuf on Jabal Rahmat, that is Mount of Arafah, the night stay of Muzdalifah, offering prayers and collecting stones for Rami, performing Rami at the 3 Jamarats in Mina, that is stoning the 3 shaitan, and Nahar, that is the sacrifice of the animal. After performing all these rituals, Hajj comes to its end, and the Zuyufur Rahman, the guests of Allah, or the Hujjaj can rightfully take off their ihrams. The importance of the day of Arafah. The Prophet ﷺ said about fasting on the day of Arafah for those not performing Hajj. It expiates sin of the previous year as well as of the following year, by Sahih Muslim. For the rest of the Muslims all over the world who haven't gone for Hajj, the first 10 days of the month of Zilhajj are of vital importance. Let's observe the 7 good deeds in the first 10 days of Zilhajj. Read Quran. Complete the reading of the Quran within this period. Reciting the Quran is a good deed, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala especially loved the good deed done in these days. Increase in Nawafil prayers, Salat al-Zuha, that is the voluntary prayer between the obligatory Islamic prayers of Fajr and Dhuhr, also known as Ishraq, Sunnah Rakat before and after first prayer, Tahiyyatul Masjid, Salatul Tawbah, Qiyam al-Layl, etc. Make lots of zikr, that is Tahleel, Tahmeed and Takbir, and send a lot of blessings and salam upon the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Do a lot of astaghfar, seek forgiveness not only for yourself but for other Muslims with real tawbah. Fasting as much as you can during these days. Most importantly, do not miss fasting on the day of Arafah. Charity, that is spending for the sake of Allah, give in His way as much as possible. Don't let any raised hands return empty. Preserve the ties of kinship. Preserve the ties of kinship, for no one who severs the ties of kinship will enter paradise. Connect with all of your near and far relatives. The Holy Prophet ﷺ said, recite Tahleel, Takbir and Tahmeed abundantly. There are no days greater in the sight of Allah in which righteous deeds are more beloved to Him than these 10 days. The first 10 days of Dhul Hajj, so recite a great deal of Tahleel, that is saying La ilaha illallah, Takbir, that is saying Allahu Akbar, and Tahmeed, that is saying Alhamdulillah during them. Let us listen to the takbir.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar wa lillahil hamd. Allahu Akbar kabira. والحمد لله كثيرا وصل اللهم وسلم على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا.
The 10th of Zul-Hajj marks the commencement of Eid al-Azha, starting with the morning prayer, also known as Salat al-Eid. The special prayer offered to observe the festival traditionally in mosques or open spaces allocated for the prayer. Right after the Eid prayer, the Muslims embrace their brothers, greet their families, and wish them happy Eid. After greeting the Eid, the male members head towards the farmyards to provide water and nourishment for the animals of sacrifice. The animals that can be slaughtered on Eid al-Azha are rams and goats, camels, bulls, and sheep. The excitement of the people to have their animals few days prior to Eid is extraordinary. Selecting the best, bargaining the utmost, decorating them with zest seems the best time of the Eid for everyone. The love and affection people develop with the animal, especially the children, is extraordinary and exceptional. Feeding and nourishing, bathing and painting, watching all day long, even at night, peeking out of the window is all so unique. Then comes the big moment, that is the sacrifice. The slaughtering of the animal, the actual task of Eid al-Azha with tasmiyah and takbir is Bismillah Allahu Akbar. The animal is slaughtered in the way of Allah and the main aim of Eid al-Azha is fulfilled. The next important task is the distribution of the meat. According to Sharia and Sunnah, the meat is divided into 3 equal portions for distributing to charity, that is the poor, the relatives and the family. The idea is to ensure everybody is represented during Eid and enjoys a good meal. Here comes the most awaited time of the Eid day, the Eid meal, cooked in the best of intentions and with the utmost care. Families, in the best of their attires, gather at each other's places to feast on the cooked meal from the Qurbani meat. The Bakra Eid dishes are extraordinary: delicious kaleji, mouth-watering kebabs, and the special mutton pulao, seasoned with spices and embellished with raitas and salads. The sizzling steaks, pie and nehari and much more all add something special to the fervor of Eid al-Azha. In the midst of all this fun and frolic, it is necessary to remember the sunnahs of Eid al-Azha. Perform ghusl on the day of Eid. Wear your most beautiful clothes. Take different route to and back from the Eid prayer. Say the takbirat before the Eid prayer until the Imam arrives. Exchange du'as and good wishes with the people. If possible, eat after the Eid prayer from the meat of your sacrifice. Last but not the least, continue the recitation of the takbirat up till the 13th of Zil-Hajjah. And most importantly, don't forget to make dua for Iman and Taqwa, for the acceptance of good deeds, for the forgiveness of transgression, and for the ease of the sufferings of the Muslim Ummah and the people all around the globe. Eid al-Azha is a festival and a lifestyle totally submerged into submission of Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. It's a celebration of stimulating Muslims' readiness to sacrifice everything for the sake of Allah. Eid is the time of praying prayers of thankfulness. It's the time of sharing and giving. It's the time of good food and festivity. It's the time of family gatherings. It's the time of remembering the poor and departed souls in the grave. Above all, it's the time to remember Allah. May Allah grant us the strength and spirit to perfectly perform the example of Ibrahim and Ismail in every facet of life and daily struggles to become better Muslims. From my side and my team Sapient, a very vibrant Eid Mubarak to all of you. I hope you enjoyed this presentation on the holy month of Zil-Hajj. I pray to Allah to fill our hearts with the light of Iman and make us all among the chosen ones. Thank you very much, and Allah Hafiz.